So if I told you that this is made by Studio MAPPA, it is written by the Interspecies Reviewer writer, and the character designs is done by the Dragon Maid mangaka, and the anime looks like a Studio Trigger series, would you believe me? Because that's exactly what Idaten is about. It literally is all of those things I just used to describe what this anime is. Like, literally, I'll just show screenshots. When you look at it, the line work and the character designs, instantly you're going to see some similarities to, let's say, like a Trigger show. You're going to see some similarities to, let's say, Dragon Maid, certain context, the way the characters look. And then also, when you actually take a good look at just the way the animation is shown throughout the episode, it actually looks like a Studio MAPPA anime. So it's just like, okay. And I mean, there's even some fan service thrown in that is very reminiscent of, Interspecies Reviewers. So there is definitely a lot going on here with this anime project. Like, there is a really loaded team working on it. Like, a lot of big names, a lot of big individual people that have worked on some very high priority things in the past are now working on this anime. Now, apparently the first 2 episodes came out yesterday at the exact same time. So basically, if you're wanting to watch it, there's 2 episodes currently right now that total in around 40 minutes, and honestly, it's a pretty decent watch. Do I think it's gonna be the anime of the season? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see where it's gonna go. But anyways, to get right into it, if I've already caught your attention about how I described it, let's actually get into what it is about. So you're probably wondering, what is Idaten about? Is it something that you're gonna like? Even if you know all these high-profile names and stuff that is attached to this project, is it something that is actually worth your time? Well, here's the thing. If you like, let's say, the concept of deities versus demons and then humans mixed up in the middle of it, then this most likely could be your story. Now, that is obviously a very simplistic and basic way to describe this anime, but that is the general premise so far from the first 2 episodes. There is obviously a lot more going on, but if I had to make it like very summarized, very simplistic, that is what it is. So it's basically like a supernatural series that has some futuristic technology, not like super futuristic, like our current age technology with, demons, humans, and deities, and you got this lore of how demons spawn and how, actual deities like gods spawn, and it makes you wonder what is going to happen and what direction the story actually wants to go. So, judging by what I witnessed from the first 2 episodes, the show basically is trying to imply that, is it a good thing that demons exist? That is at least what I started to think at the end of episode 2 of Idaten. Because the reason why I thought that is because there was a big moral discussion brought up that, like, when Idaten pop-up appear, like these deities appear, they don't do anything. They are in a time of peace, there's no demons around, and they literally, when they're summoned, and they come and appear out of nowhere thanks to just humans crying out for help, they don't actually help humans to take down other humans. They're just there to literally sit there idly by and do absolutely nothing. However, there was a subject that was brought up. If there was a demon that was, say, attacking a town of humans, the Idaten would actually go in and actually take care of the demon. They would feel compelled to protect humanity. And that was an interesting discussion. He's like, why do we do that? Why do we want to go out of our way and protect these humans to take down the demons when we don't even really know why we're doing that, but we don't do anything about the humans attacking each other? And there isn't really any, rules in place so far from what we can see that stops them from really intervening with human civilization, but it's just it seems like it's more instinct. Like, their instinct themselves is telling them that they shouldn't actually interfere with human conflict. They should only jump in if, let's say, a demon is actually doing something, which gets into the next subject. That goes back to what I was just recently talking about. You have the demons. Now, obviously, with any gods, there's the opposite force, which is demons, devils, etc. And it's implied that the devils/demons are an opposing force that bring purpose to the Idaten. They bring purpose to them and allow them to actually have something to do instead of rotting away in peaceful times and doing absolutely nothing. And maybe demons actually being around is relatively a good thing. That is at least what I got from what the episode is describing, is that the deities that are our main characters, they literally, they have such a life of peace that they're just rotting. There's nothing for them to do. So maybe the uprising of demons itself in conflict might actually serve a purpose, which goes into the next thing. Humans, since they're the centerpiece of all of this, it's stated that if humans remain idly by nothing is done, like nobody does anything, humans will eventually run themselves into extinction. That is what is stated. Like eventually they'll overpopulate, they'll, destroy the planet, and they'll die. We've heard this type of story constant, or this type of lines throughout years now in the real world. The point is that basically it's being implied here that if nothing is done, humans just will wipe out themselves. So to potentially stop this, you need opposing forces to whittle down the population, which most likely is where the demons come in. So as you can see, the premise of the story is definitely ramping up into something rather unique. I mean, I know I just said a whole huge mouthful. There was a lot to really just comprehend by the way I just described the series, but the point I'm getting at is that it's like this is more of a yin and yang story. That is a good way to summarize it, is that you have, good and evil, and that actually one side cannot exist without the other, and even though, like, you would probably think that maybe no evil would be a good thing, in reality, because of evil being there, it leaves a balance. There is a balance to where good and bad happens, and there is purpose to everything. So, I don't know. I don't know how far the series really wants to take that, but that is the general impression I get from the anime so far. It could go down a completely different path that's completely different from what I just described, but that is what I got, at the very least, right this moment. Now, speaking of which, I want to talk about the actual plot and story. Like, I know I just went on a long rant about it, but when it comes to the actual exposition of the story, it feels very, very fast-paced. That is definitely something that I need to point out. And it's very jarring, honestly. Like, when you start the first episode, and you see just all the characters kind of introduced, these bunch of different old characters, and how they're creating a sill to sill off demons once and for all, it's just, there's so much information just thrown at you at once, and I feel like whatever was going on there, the animators and everyone that was working on this, they just wanted to get through that content as quick as possible. That's what I got. My impression is that they were wanting to really rush, get through that content to get to whatever is potentially coming up in the story, because there was just so much exposition just thrown at you that honestly, it's overwhelming. It really is. Like, I had to stop and really think about everything going on to get the full grasp, because I feel like the exposition could have been done in a better way. However, when we get into episode 2, this overall problem with exposition stuff isn't really that bad anymore. It seems like it's slowly kind of leveling itself out and kind of, slowing the pacing down where it feels proper. Yeah, I feel like Idaten is a pretty good anime from this season so far. There is, however, some things that will definitely turn some individuals away, and I know for a fact this is going to be a deal breaker for a lot of people, because it's like, yeah, I can see a lot of controversy surrounding this anime thanks to a certain scene at the end of episode 1, and that is a scene that is just straight out of Redo of Hillers. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, find out for yourself if you want to. I'm not going to say it because YouTube will probably not like the words I say. All I'm going to say is that it definitely has a make it or break it segment at the end of the first episode that could easily turn people away, which is very understandable. But I feel like the more important thing about what this anime is trying to show is that, yes, this series can get that dark. I think that was the main concept of what it was trying to show, is that this isn't just a colorful show with a colorful animation palette. There is some dark things behind the scenes with some action and comedy, so don't think it's just going to be, sunshine and rainbows throughout the entire journey. There can be some really, disturbing things, which, that's another thing. The blood and action within this anime is actually pretty insane. Like, holy crap. Like, you see a character literally getting impaled in the first episode, and you're just like, holy crap, that's insane. And it's just like, it's not even censored, which, props to that. I'm very pleased to see there isn't really much censoring. Most likely it has something to do with the color palette, like, if you adjust the colors, they could get around censorship. We saw Terraformers do this one time, so I really feel like that's probably the case here, is that just changing the colors of certain things probably is how they're able to show wounds to such an extent like we saw in the first episode. But, I think that's pretty much about it. My overall thoughts of the anime so far. It's definitely something that's got my attention. I mean, once again, it's by Studio MAPPA. It's, being, done by them, and I mean, everybody, regardless of how you feel about how they potentially treat their employees, they have been putting up some really great work, animation work. The entire animators and the whole team has been doing really good work on anime, and I feel like, once again, this is probably going to be one of those hits that are going to stand out. I don't think it's going to be as popular, let's say, as Jujutsu Kaisen or Chainsaw Man, but I do think that people that, you know, have been following anime, especially Studio MAPPA, will definitely enjoy this anime. But like I said, I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, you know, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And with that, Chibi out.